The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
And welcome to Rock Talk. I'm here with Titus Medina, Phil Hernandez, and Zip Wiggins from Crimson Rain out of Arizona. Welcome, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for stopping in and giving us the time to do this interview. So my first question is, can you tell everybody what type of music you play?
Yeah, it's kind of becoming, like a lot of things, it's becoming our own little mix of flavors of different things, but generally speaking, if you look at what's already been out, it was lean more stronger towards the power metal sound of things, but now it's definitely, we're keeping that melodic power metal sound going, but we're incorporating a lot of other things in the future, pulling into more progressive as well as pulling in some gothic elements, a hint of industrial kind of, flavor, just touch base in there, and high energy and melodic, and definitely want to keep the ear guessing what's going to come out, but still flow very nice.
Well, I certainly enjoy it. The first thing that I thought of when I heard you was Yngwie. You're familiar.
Well, yeah, I've heard of them once or twice.
And then there's a little bit of like Richie Blackmore in there too. It was kind of a mosh of that. That's what I took from it. I think you guys are brilliant. You're going to do really, really well. I'm sure there's plenty of people very familiar with you. Tell me a brief history about your band.
Well, I started this particular band several years ago and have gone through a lot of different challenges and issues with it, with people that have been involved. The original drummer I worked with, James Eden, had died right after he recorded his drum tracks for the release of The Calling. And from there, we just, kept moving past that, and I ended up just trying to find the right people, and I've been blessed enough to find the guys that are here with me right now, Philip and Zip, and things I think are pretty strong right now, and we're moving forward in a direction that I've been wanting to go for a long time. And we've had a lot of interesting things happen since we've gotten together. A lot of good things happened over 2017 and 2018 with different people we played with, from Evergrey to Soulfly to a significant amount of names you might want to mention that we played down in Mexico on the Hell in Heaven Festival back in May. So,
yeah, that was
we're going to
Ozzy and Judas Priest, wasn't it? And Marilyn Manson and Guar.
Yep, all those you mentioned, Megadeth, and so many people were on that. It was incredible, and we definitely love it. So we're pretty happy with how things are going. We get along great, and the music's there, the musicianship is there, and the sound's there.
Yeah, you guys have really good chemistry. I love the new video that came out on October 4th, The Darker Side of Life. And I have that on my Facebook, and I also have it on the Rock Talk page, and we're going to be posting it on our website for everybody, and all the links to ways to get your music. So we went over where you've performed. Who writes your songs, and what are they generally about?
Well, that's kind of an open-ended question with that, as far as there's concerned, because, typically I've had a very strong influence in that direction, but it's always a matter of, whoever's actually an official member of the band brings something to the table, and, we work with whatever's there and incorporate other people's ideas to what is being written.
Mm-hmm.
And just the point is to always make the song the best song it can be, no matter whose idea it was, so there's no only this person or only that person writes. It's like, you show up, you offer something, and, it's got to suit the direction of the band, what we're doing, and sometimes an idea is great and we use it, and sometimes down the road.
Okay.
So everybody involved that wants to be involved, but along the way, a lot of people, not everybody wants to contribute in that direction, and that's fine. Some people just want to play their instrument, and that's all they want to do. And some other people have more of a creative outlet when it comes to coming up with stuff and want to present that. And I'm looking forward to working with that as we go along, because it's always good for me when somebody brings something in and I like it, because a lot of times I'll take an idea and I'm able to take it and run with it and turn it into something, a lot more than probably what it was going to be to start out with, like The Darker Side of Life, for example. That intro bass riff was what the bass player at the time had brought into the band, and that's all he had. But, I liked the way it sounded, and I threw in an intro before that and just took it and ran with it, and it became the song that it is now.
So it evolved.
Yeah, it evolved, and everybody's influences take it somewhere. So if somebody throws an idea in that takes the song somewhere else, then, they're officially a contributing writer.
Awesome. I love the part of the video where it flashes over to the skeleton and he's throwing the horns up. That was really cool. So what other venues have you played?
We played, a few around here. One of them we like to play at the Marquee Theater. That's where we played with Soulfly. We played a couple other places around here that are local venues with, like I mentioned before, with Evergrey. Another one was Serenia and Arcona. Serenia was a fun show to play with. We had a good time playing with them. So, played with John Five.
With John Five.
Yeah.
Now, how did you guys come up with the band's name?
That was kind of an ongoing pursuit. Originally, like anything, you have a few ideas, you try to come up with something, and it just kind of suited the direction, the feel of what I felt music called for. And just over time, juggling a bunch of ideas, eventually just decide on something. So it wasn't any one thing that popped out and we decided to name it after anything in particular. It was definitely an original direction. And at first I just started out with calling it Rain.
Okay.
R-E-I-G. And in time, then it just seemed like it was a little too bland and kind of less descriptive. So to kind of give it more of the overall vibe and feel of what I was going for, then it made more sense to go with the idea of a Tyrant's Crimson Rain.
Yeah, it's a great name. I love it.
Thank you.
So what is your favorite type of venue to play?
Definitely big venues.
Yeah. It's definitely a different feel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for me also, it's like my perspective there is just with the showmanship aspect of us being able to perform and be that entertainment along with the music that we come up with for the bands that like what we do. Having those bigger arenas really help us to stretch our minds in that area of stage production too, with some of the things that we've thought of to do to enhance our performance, as well as, build around the songs that we play for the sets that we decide to play for particular shows. That's been kind of a creative outlet in itself in that way too, both on stage and behind the scenes for us. Keeps us busy.
Yeah, and you have enough room.
The festival, everything was right about that. It's a professional environment. Everybody that works those festivals operates as a complete professional, and that's why the audience gets a better show, because everybody has a chance to be set up properly. They were very attentive to everything that we needed. If we had a question or needed something, the crews jumped on it, got it done. Other people in other bands, and their crews were helpful, which was a great experience to encounter that when, I was trying to accomplish something and ended up getting a significant amount of help from Marilyn Manson's stage crew manager. So I was expecting maybe to be shot down with something I was trying to do, but rather than just okaying it, he actually jumped in, put his crew to work, and got things done. So that was pretty cool to have that happen and to just, fit right in and have everybody welcome us and compliment us as well, too, after we actually played. So.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that a lot. There's definitely a brotherhood in the music industry, especially rock and metal. It's like no other. And yeah, they help. Everyone helps one another, and there's immense work that goes on in these festivals. I mean, just setting up, tearing down, it's amazing, absolutely amazing how much effort goes into bringing a great performance to the people. So, as far as getting your music, where can people find it? I know it's on iTunes, and I saw CD Baby. Is that what it is? cdbaby.com?
Yeah, it's on cdbaby.com, available for download as well as iTunes. It's available in almost every streaming format that's out there. Spotify. You can also get it on Amazon.com, probably streaming or buying it on there as well. There's several avenues. I know that other stuff's popped up if you want to listen to, even in I don't know if it's actually a playback app or anything like that, but I know it pops up in Shazam, and there's so many different places that it's available that whatever you use, just do a search for Crimson Rain, The Dark Side of Life, or The Calling, and you're more than likely going to see this pop up in that avenue, even through Napster.
Okay. Now, as far as, you do have a website of your own, crimsonrain.net, is that correct?
Yes, you can go to crimsonrain.net and check everything out from there. Also, you can go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Crimson Rain Metal.
Now, I know a lot of people out there are interested in your merchandise. Can we get that on your website?
Yes, there actually is a store on the website. One of the tabs on there, I think it actually is labeled merchandise and music, perhaps. But you can go through there and order however you want. There's links that'll take you to CD Baby, iTunes, the merch, the shirts, the stickers, the posters, all that stuff is to our own Crimson Rain Metal merchandise store that's on there. So all of that's available directly as well. But pretty much keep the music to be sold through those other avenues, especially when ordering out of the country. It's better to order through like CD Baby or something like that if you want to order a hard copy of something, because you don't have to pay a ridiculous amount of money for shipping.
Okay, well, I'll make sure that I link that to the interview for the listeners. All that will be out probably by Wednesday afternoon, latest in the evening. So as far as any upcoming shows, do you have a calendar that people can get a hold of?
As things are coming up, we will post things on the website typically.
Okay.
As well, Facebook page. Right now, we're actually focusing on completing writing and recording the album and working on future shows for 2019. Some things are pending and not completely confirmed that I won't mention because of that, but there may be, we're working on things as far as actually playing out next year, but right now we're kind of having some downtime to focus on the work part to get the new album done and get that marketed and out. Once that's out, then we'll be playing like crazy. Okay,
so basically you're wrapping up the year. Is there anything as far as getting out here this way in the works, possibly?
Yeah, everything is going to be in the works to do, whatever opens up. I actually have somebody out in the LA area that has talked about booking us at different venues and places throughout California. So that is something that will probably happen as well next year. It will happen at some point in time regardless. So, it's just a matter of things, some work done here and getting out and, going and pushing the album really well and having something that we're proud of and having everything prepped to give a great presentation to everybody.
Well, certainly. Well, I know that you have tons of fans out here this way, and we'd love to see you guys live. That would be just awesome. And I can help you out too. I have
That's
some.
Great.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that at a later time. Now, have you guys went out on a tour yet, or how's that work?
No, basically I've just done one-offs as we're, prepping for everything else.
Okay.
We got a band together, things started rolling locally with some opening acts, and it just kind of was overwhelming. We had a few really good shows that, we had an opportunity to take one, and it led to another, which led to another, and the next thing I had a promoter that really believed in the band and what's going on, and we stood out, above and beyond others with music and visuals and everything and stage presence. And he pushed us, through the chain to get us into Hell and Heaven, and it worked, and we're very appreciative of that. And it was a dream come true to go and step into that realm and to be on the other side of, what you always fantasize about and actually experience it. And, from there it was just kind of like it changed our mindset. It was, we've had several conversations about it. We just haven't been the same since because we realized, how it's supposed to be and just experiencing it as a reality versus just a fantasy. And, we stepped into that plane and made it a reality. And, most bands will never do anything like that ever. And it was just very, very intense.
Yeah.
And it put us in a whole new mindset of what we need to be doing as a band, not just for stage presentation, the songwriting as well. And it's become a strong influence in what we're doing going forward. So that after this, we're looking on. There's a lot of things spinning right now, and different people in the industry that are checking into us. That I don't want to throw any names out, but people are looking into the material right now. So hopefully something will fall into place with that, and we'll line up on a good tour with somebody for sure.
Oh, definitely. Oh, I know you guys will. You're really, really good, and I talked to several of my friends, and they're like, yeah, we love them. So it's awesome. I'm so happy that you took the time to, have this interview with me, and I can't wait to get the music out to everybody. As far as any obstacles that you guys have, what has been your biggest obstacle as a band?
I think generally the industry comes down to two things, personally. I think it comes down to money and people. It's very expensive and to do it right, and depending on what you want to do with it, and then the people you work with.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have a lot of different levels of commitment that they think that they're committed, and they say they are, but, they don't want to cross a certain plane. I don't have the time for this. I don't have the money to buy this. Oh, I can't go out of town. Oh, I can't get a passport. Or, I don't have the money to get to practice. I don't have the car. I mean, excuses are everywhere. It's the people that, like these guys that are sitting beside me now, life is tough and everything's in the way, but it's a matter of fighting through all that crap and attaining what you want to do. Don't
true.
let the stuff get in your... That stuff's always in your... That's why people get shot down and they shut down, because all these things get in their way, and to them, that's the end of it.
You got to keep the main thing, and keep your focus on what you're doing. And it's good that you've taken the rest of the year to just focus on, just putting your ducks in a row. And I promise you guys, that the doors that need to be open will open up for you. Don't try to kick any. They'll open. You guys are really, really good, and you're making a name for yourself. And you're going to hit the ground running. So just, take some time to meditate about that and get yourself in a good place. And it's going to happen.
That's awesome. That's what we like to hear.
And that's very true. Like you said, and like along with what Titus has mentioned, we look back here not too long ago that I've been with Titus and under the Crimson Rain name, drumming for a little over 3 years now. And in that time, we've gone through some changes, but the perseverance, the dedication, like we've said, Zip and I, and after going to Mexico, having the faith, actually visualizing that you were meant to be on stage at that level.
Yep.
And so there again, having that opportunity and stepping forward, like on opening us the AT&T Heaven stage on Cinco de Mayo, second day of the festival, biggest metal rock festival in the world, with names of bands that you've listened to when you're growing up, as well as that are just, right there, and then meeting them backstage, as well as standing side stage while they perform. Just the way they talk to you, the way that whole level of the industry is just so, it's like the coolest thing you always thought it would be, and that it was actually that way. And then to walk on stage, do our set, and then come off stage and then look at each other and like, what did we just get to do?
Yeah. Yep.
And it's like, and then from there it all started to sink in, just the magnitude, but then too that confirmation of everything that we've all individually as well as together at Crimson Rain to this point have put forth to be able to attain that.
Yeah.
And it's just, like Titus says, there's much more coming. There's much more work that we have on our plates now, but yet we're excited more and more to do it because now it really starts to expand, what that can possibly become. And that's what helps, encourage us and fuel us to keep, want to keep push forward and do more.
Certainly. And you guys have to, root for each other and hold each other up at times. Sometimes it's rough, life gets to us all, but you have to stay strong in the unit that you are and just persevere and get on out there. And, the world needs music, and you guys were blessed with gifts and just utilize them. You guys are really brilliant. I mean, when I listened to the video the first time and watched it, yeah, it's a great visual video, but you sound a lot like Yngwie and Richie Blackmore, and those two are phenomenal guitarists. And I don't know if you like them, or they're your inspiration, or who you followed when you were young, but it definitely is coming out in your music. I don't know if you know that.
That's good. It's always interesting to hear what other people hear within the music that comes out.
Yeah.
Definitely a major influence on me as a guitar player. Was huge on his writing, especially, his guitar work, obviously, where he really shines with everything. For many years, really focused on that, but it's a fine line between, you take like with anything, you have something you're really into, but it's good to, influences come out. Everybody hears, even major acts from the past,
mm-hmm.
They'll tell you who their influences were, and people will tell you the same thing about them. Oh, I hear this influence from there. So, we haven't ever heard anybody that other people hear that we are ashamed to be associated with. Everything, buddy, names like that. It's a major achievement to be, compared and contrasted to somebody of such stature like that. So we'll take that as a major compliment.
Well, you're the next generation. It's like passing the torch. I don't know if you have Yngwie's CD in your musical library, but if you don't, get a hold of Rising Force. It came out in 1984. Okay, and take a listen to that, and you'll hear yourself in that.
Oh yeah. I have almost everything that he's ever put out for many years, all the way through. I think the first couple CDs that he had Ripper Owens sing on, and then I just kind of got so involved with my own stuff that a lot of bands stopped buying everybody else's album because all of my money and all my time's going into my own stuff. So I'm still a huge fan of all of those bands, but we're not just fans of music anymore, we're creators of it, so it occupies a lot of our time.
Yeah.
So we're not able to, me personally, I'll go out and buy a CD of somebody who just comes out all the time like I used to as a fan, and wait till an album drops and I was the first one in line, as I was growing up and through much of my early adult life. So, now I'm trying to make sure that I create something, and that's our goal, is we want to create music that can excite people when they hear it and when they see us. We want to present to people what experiences we have with music and artists and performances that captivated us, that changed our lives and really got us excited. We want to be those people for other people at this point.
Well, you are those people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what he's also really trying to say between the lines is, in that connection that we have as new material is brought forth, and we're writing this new album, it's like I made reference to myself in the drumming aspect as being like a pretzel that's twisted around here and there and seems evasive, but yet comes back around and then drops out and comes back up, and it's like might be considered like the taffy pulling process, And at times it's like with that connection of, the arrangements and the guitar work, and then trying to apply drums in the approach that we have, and then combining different ideas from Titus to my own input as I'm playing, and then recording and then reevaluating, and next thing you know, it's like I've got to go back and relearn what I just did. So sometimes it seems so complex, but then to hear, like Titus said, and like you had mentioned, other names comparatively that we have heard of, it's an honor to actually be able to say, hey, you know, it sounds like I hear some influence of this kind, or was it, you know, I mean, it's always interesting the way music kind of, it forms itself. You know, we've had that comment, like, you know, the song will establish itself as it's meant to, sometimes in the writing process.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, you get to a spot, and then it's like, the titles will be like, just, I need a couple days. And I'm like, all right, I'll check back with you. And if you think, hey, I think I got something, and then we go from there. Suddenly it's like, what seemed like a wall. Next thing you know, this song's done, on to the next one, you know. And so it's fun. It's nice, challenging, but at the same time, it's very rewarding.
Well, your instruments are an extension of who you are. It's part of you. And your energy and your emotions flow. That's why every show is different. That's why I love live music, because you could see the same band over and over and over again, and you're going to hear the same song, but it's going to be completely different. And it's really awesome the way that works out, you know? It's just great.
Yeah, in that progressive sense of, you know, I guess one term that, you know, we put in trying to define our sound and who we are, that is, it's part of, like, you know, taking what abilities and creative processes, but then just like in your own personal life in any rate, is to try to grow, you know, try to expand, try to really step outside yourself, get out of the comfort zone and push, because ultimately it's like, it's rewarding to say, hey, you know, we've had a creative process that brought about this music that established itself. But too, it's like with the performances, the opportunities we've had to meet fellow musicians and peers, to meet fans in different countries, and actually connect on Facebook with people that you get. It's like Titus said earlier too, it just becomes overwhelming, but you really just push to grasp hold of every aspect you can, and it's so multifaceted at times, but at the same time it's just simple with being connected and being thankful that you have that opportunity to do something like this in your lifetime, you know. And for me, that's been I guess more or less my main pursuit of tangible dream, I guess you could say, because other than that, you know, flying across the universe as a starfighter pilot or something's a little bit unrealistic, but it could happen.
Well, you're doing that musically. I didn't know who you guys were at first, you know, a few months ago when I started talking to Titus, and then I was like getting into it, and I'll be driving around and I'm already singing your song. So, you know, it's just gonna...
That's great.
Yeah, it's...
That's the goal I was supposed to be. That's what we're trying to do, too, within all of this. And what's really happening on this next album is a great thing that's happening. We're incorporating some new elements, and with that, it's really setting it in this direction that you've heard with the new release, and beyond that, The Darker Side of Life is really the perfect pivot song and the link between the first album and what's happening in our future direction. It's incorporating a lot of things that writing styles and ideas that, you know, have developed throughout the first writing process and that are developing within this one. And it really is that perfect transitional point with this song. And there's going to be some interesting sounds and things you hear on this next album. And the biggest thing that is most important is that we're finding our own distinct voice, not only for ourselves, but in the music industry, because that is what is making us more successful and letting us do other things in some of these other bands, because we don't sound like every other band that's out there. When you come see us, we sound like us, and that's always been the goal for me. Never wanted to sound like everybody else. If I like something, I like something somebody else is doing, but You know, you're always going to be a different version of something that's already been done somehow, because that's just a reality. But you have to have your own voice. That
You're
when people hear
exactly right.
you, and you go play a show and you don't sound like every other band that played that night. You might fit a genre or a direction, but the bands that really stand out when you hear them, when they come on stage, they don't, you fit the format of the evening perhaps, but you don't sound like other bands that were on before or after you. You don't,
Yeah.
blend in and become a collage of noise that everybody else has already been doing. That's not good for the ear. It's boring, and it just you may enjoy doing it, but when everybody else is doing it, then what makes you stand out? And it's everything. And what it comes down into, and I continue to use the word because it's the driving force behind it, is that this is, people always say, oh, it's passion, not fashion, and this kind of stuff. And it's like, what this is, you're completely right and wrong with that. But what this really is it's entertainment. You're in the entertainment industry, and we're here to entertain people. We want people to enjoy the show. We want to put on something that is worth watching, because you can sit at home and listen to the songs all night long. But if you go to see somebody live, you want to see something that gets you going. You don't want to just hear what you hear at home and see something that looks like somebody practicing on stage, basically, like they might as well be in a garage. So it's you're there to entertain. People are paying to see you, so entertain the people that come to see you. I mean, that's what makes it fun for us, is that we want to entertain, we enjoy it, we're expressing ourselves, the music comes out that way, and you get that feedback from people watching you, because they are watching you. They're not just listening, they're watching. And so it's everything, your performance and showmanship. We have a lot of really grand ideas and schemes and directions of things we want to go with that are far beyond our reach at this point with certain things, but aiming for that is what we'll get is there, like it's gotten us to where we're at now. And we've stepped up things quite a bit along the way, and we're continuing to do so, and we just keep adding to it and adding to it. We have a lot of things we want to do that are far beyond what we've already done, and there's just we continue to grow, and that's basically our if you want to call it our band motto, is that we can always be better. So we're always about improving and continuing to grow and enhance and make it better, not only for ourselves, but ultimately for the fans and people that are listening, and then also as well as when they come to watch us perform.
Yeah, that's actually good advice for other bands too. So as far as, do you have anything else that you'd like to tell the listeners out there?
Yeah, I think it's pretty exciting that, things are starting to develop for us in a lot of different manners in the industry as well, too. One recent, big thing that's occurred recently is, Zip has become affiliated with Dean Guitars. So, I'll let him tell you more about that, what's going on with the Dean Guitar.
Hey, Zip.
Yeah, I just got picked up by Dean Guitars. I'm on their artist roster now.
Nice. Excellent. That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah, it's kind of a lifetime thing. I've always wanted to play Deans. I've been playing them anyway probably the last 12 years. So if I got the opportunity to get in with them, I obviously jumped at that opportunity.
Yeah, that's totally cool. As far as your outlook on the record industry right now, how are you feeling about it?
Things have changed a lot, and it is what it is. There's a harsh reality that comes with that, and it is not at all what it used to be. I mean, that's even the impact here. We have, a significant amount of attention and likes on the material.
Yeah.
But everything is available in some way, somehow, for free. So before, back in the day when rock stars were hitting that, mega fortune level, people liked something, they heard it on the radio, and they wanted to hear it again, they had to go to the record store and buy it. And if it was a single release, typically it was on the album, so they went and bought the whole album, typically because of perhaps one song, or they liked the artist and they knew the artist would deliver, so when they dropped a new album, they went out and bought it.
Yep.
Now it's available, and, obviously it all started back with the Napster, with the pirating, downloading is, there, and it expanded from that to everything in the digital age that we're in, and file sharing is, common practice these days in many different directions. And it's just a harsh reality with that. And everything is available some way for free somehow, to see it, view it, hear it. If you want it, you can go some avenue, even just to YouTube, and type it in and look at it. More than likely it's there to listen to if you want to just hear it at the moment. And like I said, even our stuff is available on a lot of streaming sites so that people can hear it and get it out there. That's a big thing. So as far as like going and purchasing, the material, that source of income is a huge hit from what it used to be. But where the direction lies with that, what people can't get out of just listening to it or whatever, is the live shows.
Yeah.
So what really comes down to any potential profit that comes into it, it's when you go play the live shows, the money you get paid, of course, to play for actually the performance, and then, of course, the merchandise sells after the fact. And then, of course, when you play, that's when people get excited, and that's when they buy the music most of the time, because they're excited about it, and they want it, and they identify the situation. It becomes an experience versus just a song they're hearing. And so people are buying that experience to take with them.
Yeah,
But,
you're right.
But, that's it. Like, people, and a lot of times, too, with media, people can sit at home and they watch things. People are recording, just live streaming things from Facebook, and people can sit at home and watch somebody, put it on their phone. There's a lot of, it's taken a huge hit. It's definitely not what it used to be. It's a harsh reality, and it's a very unlikely scenario to live the life as they put it, with what's available these days. But it's still a possibility to do things. There's still a demand for it. People still want the music and they want to go to live shows. And you see that when you get to these festivals, around.
Oh, yeah.
Out in the little, clubs or whatever. It's the same old thing every week, and the same bands playing with each other at a different place. You go to these other places and you have these festivals, and, it's like people come out of the woodwork, and you don't even realize what it's like, and the power when you hear, 100,000 people, yelling in unison and screaming in unison or singing in unison. When you hear that, I mean, even as we're pulling into the festival, we're hearing somebody else perform, and we're hearing the audience, a couple miles away. It's just intense. It's just like, it's an army. It's a huge army of metalheads that are just sharing that passion, and that's the experience. You can't stream that experience. You have to be there for that.
Well, and then, like in your question that you asked too, it's like with that, there again is realizing that the music and that and everything is what we put ourselves to create and have our effort of everything in it. But when it comes down to the other part of it manifesting, what's to come, it's like it comes down to business, and it's like there again, now that business and the way people do business and attain things has changed, it definitely presents its challenges. So therefore, you have to go and get with those other people as well with what knowledge we have to try to do the best you can to make it, a viable business that's going to support the creativity of being able to get the music out there. Hopeful these hundreds of thousands of people that do want to see live performance are going to want to go see, and they're taking lessons from many bands that we've grown up listening to and seeing, and even nowadays as things have changed.
Yeah.
The whole opportunity of merchandise, it's like at a festival like that, it's a big opportunity to be able to get things into fans' hands that they can promote the band again in their own circles or wherever, So whether it's a T-shirt or swag or whatever it is, or, those opportunities. But then, too, looking at, online sales of merchandise, people that can get in through the website. And there again, it's like, we'll have talks about little things that we think, oh, maybe this would be cool, collector's items for the Crimson Rain band fans, and different little things of like merchandise things that might just help, but then again, you got to be able to have these things that, is this what people are going to be interested in? Is it going to be feasible to actually have it manufactured or whatever to make it into existence that you can actually make enough of a profit off of, but it's a value to the fan because it's priceless to them to have it.
Yeah.
How they feel about your band and your music and stuff. So, yeah, it really does. It does seem like there's so much to it, you know, but there again, the challenges only create more desire to push forward. So, you know, that's one thing that I've appreciated about what we all together contribute along with just the music and what we're doing. It is definitely what Titus had begun and came down to deciding Crimson Rain. Now it's become more of just that input that we all still, you know, see that same vision and want to make that produce itself into basically its own self-sustainable entity, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so
it's so important.
Therefore, we can live the dream of having that creative process of waking up in the morning, putting on my tennis shoes and go play drums for 4 hours, just warm up, and then go and stretch and torture myself, you know, in a rehearsal situation of trying to create new music, only to have to relearn it and then be satisfied and proud of myself that the fact that I've accomplished something, and then hear it and think, wow, how is this going to, what kind of response is going to come? Like, we've got a new track that we're just right there finishing up, and it's like, and while we were writing this, it's like we're consumed. We couldn't let it go. It's like we're just like, man, this is really becoming pretty fascinating. You know, they belong the title of that song, along with, you know, when you look at the title of a new song to the title of the new album and everything, and all of a sudden and then I start getting ideas about, I want to do this on stage for the drum riser to go with the album and to go with the song, and then, you know, I mean, it gets crazy.
Yeah, we're not short on ideas, and that's vital. That's what makes us exciting for us.
Totally.
We're able to grow, expand because of that. Because, like I mentioned this earlier, you know, we have some pretty grand ideas and things that continue to bounce. We continue to bounce off each other, and we everything we can realize at the time that we're, you know, for where we're at. But everything that we come up with is something that is very likely to actually occur in the future at some point somehow. Yeah. It's just a matter of time, energy, and once again, the money to make it happen, and what you're doing and where you're playing, and, you know, where are you going to be able to utilize it at, you know, the size of the venue, can you use this or can you use that?
Yeah.
You know, it's very different. That in itself is an issue, but it's very exciting to have those ideas and then see them come to fruition. And, you know, there's ideas and there's trial and error at the same time. You know, you come up with an idea, and then you bring in something, you're like, okay, well, I see where you're going with that, but it doesn't really actually, you know, suit where we're going. And then when you actually hone in on it and get the details ironed out on it, and then you realize, yeah, that's what we were hoping for. That's the quality of that idea we need to actually deliver to the audience, and then it's exciting for everybody.
Well, and too, it's like with the experience of having that opportunity in Mexico, they're again stepping into that level of opportunity. We walked away with a very positive opportunity, but at the same time, we also walked away with some new thought process with, you know, how we can go about doing things. Like one example would be like our backdrop for backstage as we're playing, realizing that, wow, you know, the whole big banner poster that's now you got to have one that's 2 stories high and you know 2 apartments wide.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then somebody like, you know, Marilyn Manson, stage production manager, is like, hey, do you guys have a digital image of that? And I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even think of that. And it's like, yeah, we could have just shot a projection image of a digital image, and you wouldn't even have had to pack this big banner. And so that in itself too is like, you know, that process where you learn and you streamline, and then you just realize, you know, it's like, hey, we're not talking Kansas anymore. We're talking Singapore. We're talking Australia, somewhere like that, you know. So, and that
it's great.
Yeah, like we had, it's a whole new experience, you know, in that realm. It really did put things in perspective because, you know, we're aiming for a certain level, and all of a sudden we get this opportunity, and we ended up, you know, being at that level, like, it seemed overnight. You know, I worked on getting us set up and actually making it happen for 6 months before it actually did happen. But, you know, by the time we got there, and it was stepping into that plane, which most people don't do, and there was that, like with everything, there's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And so,
but it's ever changing. I mean, it's a life changing moment. It's a divine appointment. That's what I call them.
Yeah, exactly. It put everything in a whole new perspective, and we realized, what we need to do to be prepared for something like that, for the next opportunity we get to enhance our own performance. Like I said, we were always focused on that, to step it up the next time, to make it better for the fans and ourselves.
Even at a local level, that our fellow musicians here, with the accolades that we receive from them about, wow, good for you guys. But now it's like, we can't just go back out and do like a show at the local performance club that we have. Now it's like with shows that we've had the opportunity to do, like Soulfly, John 5, and that it's like, now it's like, it's more about, well, we're going to go out and perform. We're not just going to go out and play for the weekend.
Yeah.
At the local thing. So that now it's like, that's all changed everything. It's almost
but
like
all of that was important. Those were your baby steps. Now you're walking and you're going to start running. So just be thankful for all that, because it has prepared you, definitely prepared you. And there's going to be a lot of people that will help you along the way. I promise you that.
That's been it. That's what made it happen. It's like, you have to start here. People want to get out and they want to gig all the time, go play. But it's like, maybe it's just being at home, working on your stuff, or being in your studio, working on your overall, not just your songs, your material, but your overall show, from step outside the box and looking at yourself as somebody who's watching the performance. Are you really entertained? Try not to entertain you. Are you entertained? So, that's really what it comes from,
Yeah.
And that's what it's about, like I said, is that. So stepping into that, it's a matter of coming back and being there. It puts things in perspective as to why things are how they are in these different levels, and it's because of the mentality of the way promoters do things, and they don't allow for certain things to allow bands to put on a show because they want to cram everything into such a small time frame that, you don't have time to really do things like you need to do to deliver a proper concert and really deliver everything you have within you and your ability to actually present to the audience and the fans, and
the stage production and the many hands that are backstage that make that happen. There again, it's like, as we think of the bigger picture, because we've had the opportunity and we look at what we want to see as if we were entertaining ourselves, is how we look at the people that would be the fans that we're hopefully entertaining. It's like, well, me, I'll think more like in the drum riser, in that center's backstage area. But then again, at the same time, people are like, oh, I can't see you in your drum set. So finding other aspects to kind of visualize myself being more entertaining or more visible to people who are standing further out.
You have to get that drum set up. I mean, being a photographer too, that's my main job, is what I do for a living. And I never forget the drummer. And sometimes you're hard to photograph. I'll sneak in between the Marshall stacks and get you mid-drum, But
right down there in Mexico, standing on side stage with Mastodon. And Billy comes up, while he's playing, and kicks his Marshall stack, and it top piece lunges forward to an angle, and his beer can falls off.
Oh, no.
His guitar tech's standing back behind it. He turns around, looks at that side stage, kind of gives a laughing smirk, goes around, straightens it back up, puts another can of beer on top. Show continues on. But that kind of stuff, is awesome, because it's like the many people that were switching out drum risers. You got this crew pulling this drum riser off. Next thing you know, this other crew's pulling out Megadeth's drum riser.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the other stage, side by side, stuff's going on. I mean, just as a band, let alone at a festival magnitude, as a band, it's like first we started incorporating a couple neighbors and a couple friends, and then next thing you know, it's like we're trying to bring in maybe an intern student and a couple other people. It's like, well, now we got to think. It's like for me, I had a guy after Mexico ask me if I had a drum tech, and I'm like, hey, I could use one, but I don't have the payroll to support you like I want to. So, and I'd have to train you and this, that, and the other thing. So it's like, that, you know, in itself
Yeah.
becomes a whole nother ball game with everything, you know, because to be able to get on stage, off stage, and then still have the kind of production and quality that you want to support the music, have the music present itself, but then also be entertaining.
Yeah.
And there's really, since a young teenager going to concerts and seeing my favorite bands from Black Sabbath to Ozzy when he went sing solo to Rush or whoever else, you know.
Could you imagine being Neil Peart with his set? Dear Lord, that poor drum tech.
No, matter of fact, this new song we're working on, as I was coming up with some ideas for us, you know, I started playing drums. I played drums for 5 years before I switched to guitar. And so I still have a strong passion for the drums. I love the drums. It's fun for me.
Yeah.
And the drum, Porter's the drummer. But, you know, that's what makes it fun. I have to work with somebody like Philip that, you know, actually has a brain that can apply things and take the technicalities to utilize this properly and has that desire for for the challenge to do something above and beyond what other people do. To be a little more technical, it flows to the ear nicely, but it's not something you can just sit down and it's just not predictable, because predictable is boring, you know. But yet at the same time, it's not so obscure that it bites your ear and you don't enjoy listening to it. But this particular thing, you know, I was like, with this song, like, you know, this is calling for a whole different kind of drumming in this one. I'm like, I really, you know, want to utilize the concept of more like a Neil Peart kind of direction with this, where it's not, you know, any particular kind of drumming outside of, you know, your typical drumming with, you know, your basic beat or directions or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's linear, one sound to the next, not to be repeated, and then now you got to take that and twist the same pattern, but hit different pieces within the drum kit. It's like, now, then we're going to add this, and it's like, okay, now there's a break and a time change, and everything. It's like, okay, you got that?
Yeah, I know.
Multifaceted, I'll tell you. So much work in all of bands, and just the growing pains that we go through. I'm going through them doing Rock Talk USA. You know, I want to get all this music out to people, and I got to hire somebody to help me now.
No, that's good. That's good. That means you're doing something right. It's moving forward. People are interested enough, and you're expanding. And it's the same with us. You know, we are still looking for you know, a couple permanent members, because it is demanding, and a lot of people. Most people just have the right fit. You know, you have to have the right fit.
But I'll tell you, it'll show up. I promise you. I mean, 2 months ago, I was sitting in the Steve Miller Band's tour bus. And 5 months prior to that, I never thought I'd be sitting there. I mean, I had made him a bunch of cookies. We were sitting there eating cookies, and I mean, yeah, it's like, and they're my friends now, and they're awesome people. And I loved Steve Miller. That was my first album when I was a kid. When I was 10 years old, that's what I asked for my birthday. You know?
Well, he's a joker, and he's just a smoker, and he's a night toke. You know, have fun with that.
Yeah. And, you know, as far as the merch, you know, I've kept all the things that I've held dear, and then it's all signed by the people that I've loved my whole life, you know, and it does happen, and merch is very important. So make sure that you bring something that's unique, and it'll sell.
I am glad you mentioned that, because that's one thing I was thinking of earlier to discuss was that is one of the most enjoyable parts of this for us too. We of course love doing the performance and playing. That's where our passion stems from, but we have a great time at our meet and greets afterwards, and we get to meet the fans directly. And man, you know, we're going to sit here and probably tell you a few things right now about how it went, you know, just the Mexico thing, but everywhere we played afterwards, we've gotten tremendous feedback. People are very excited, taking photos with us, and, you know, buying the merch and getting it signed and hanging out, and letting us know how much they really enjoyed it. You know, it makes our efforts worthwhile, because that's the whole point, is to entertain and make people happy and enjoy their evening, and to you know, to interact with them. And it was great all along the way, you know. And
yeah, it's amazing.
Mexico was a great thing, you know. I mean, you know, we all had our great experiences down there. You know, everywhere we went, you know, we were very welcomed. It was was great to have merch and sign it, and even just people afterwards, walking through the crowds and stuff.
I threw out like 30, 40 guitar picks during that set. And we got back to the States, and people were sending me stuff on Facebook with them holding the guitar pick that I'd thrown out to the crowd.
It means a lot to people. It really does. I have the red cups that you get when you're at like a kegger, the plastic cups.
Yeah.
I have one that James Hetfield threw into the crowd from like 1991, and I still have it. And it's just a cup to somebody else, but it's part of my memory. It was a really cool moment in my life.
Yeah, well, that goes beyond way back to that era as well too, because especially because he doesn't even drink anymore.
Yeah.
After the whole alcoholism thing that he dealt with so strongly and directly, so that goes back to their roots and what they were, and that's awesome to have that stuff. And it's the same thing, like you say. We had people sending us pictures of that, or as I'm going through the crowds, signing all kinds of stickers and stuff, and stuff like that. And people are tagging us and hitting us up left and right, and wanting us to come back. Come back and play Hell in Heaven next time. We want you back at Hell in Heaven again. Like, wanting us to come back, and it makes it all worth it. It's fun. It's great for everybody.
Yeah, well, you're changing lives and you're making memories with people, and that's what life's about. You got to share your gifts, and it's awesome that you guys found each other. You sound like you've been playing together a lot longer. You have really good chemistry, and that is in itself what makes or breaks a band. So just keep open with one another. You might have differences of opinion and stuff, but just work it out. At the end of the day, work it out, and just keep the focus on the main thing, and that's the music.
Yeah. Well, and you're so right with all that. I had a situation that somehow I thought might snowball, but I had somebody who connected with me through Facebook and just somehow, started to kind of friend me there and started following me with Crimson Rain. And then, it's like doing local shows or getting videos or pictures back. And then they're like, hey, they said, because they're on the East Coast, upstate, and they're like, is there any way I could get like an autographed picture of you somehow? And I'm like, you know what? That's a good thought. I was like, let me see. And I thought, hey, let me pick a couple pictures from me playing and let you choose something, and then I'll just, whatever you want me to write on there to Roger, keep rocking, and then Fernandez or something like that. And so then what I did is I asked him, it's like, hey, I gave him a couple different cool shots that I had. I said, which one would you like me to sign? He says, could I get one of each? And I'm like, oh, you want one of each? But what I did is I went down and I made enlargements of the digital pictures, kind of more like a 10 by 15 poster size or whatever, and then just went ahead and signed it in pen and mailed them off to him. But then I had a couple other people that got interested and did the same thing in different parts of the country. I think one down in the southeast and then somebody else in the Midwest. But there again, it's like, that kind of presented another thought toward other things to have at the table, for the meet and greets.
Well, I can't wait to photograph you guys, because I'm a kick-ass photographer, and you guys got that beautiful hair. I can get some awesome shots. I don't know if you've checked out the Rock Talk USA website. There's a whole...
Yeah, I looked at it per day. You're definitely a kick-ass photographer.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned to you. If you put that bridge photograph that you did into production somehow, I definitely want one, because that's kick-ass.
Oh, yeah.
That's like amazing image.
Well,
that's killer.
You certainly will get. You'll get one. You'll definitely get one.
Awesome.
But as soon as, I don't know if I'll make it out to Arizona, but if there's a chance that I do, I'll certainly get a hold of you and we can do some photographs. But I bet you'll be out here before I get there. So we have a date. We have a photo shoot. So put that on the back burner. And I won't charge you anything. I want to help you guys. And,
that's awesome.
You definitely need that. Because like Phil's doing, people want those things. And it's a good idea to get some good images and and put those out on the table. You know, you can even do auctions. There's all kinds of things that you can do to raise money to get places, and then, you know, the ball will start rolling, and it'll definitely all work out. So I'm going to have to wrap it up because we've been talking for quite some time, but the fans are going to love this because we're getting to know you guys, and we're going to be playing, right after this, we're going to be playing The Darker Side of Life, and along with some more classics that I've picked for the night. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell everybody?
Just, keep an eye on Crimson Rain. We have big things to come in 2019. There'll be a new album out, and if we really think they're going to dig it, and just keep an eye on the website and the Facebook page. Hit us up there. Messages, contact us, and let us know what you have going. If you're affiliated with the industry or other bands that are out there that, you know, want to work with us, then let us know as well too. And Promoters Agency. So, you know, we're pretty easygoing and want to work with people and get things done and move forward for ourselves, but with others as well too. So we appreciate people like yourself that are helping us out with things, and
being able to have opportunity to talk with you and share from our perspectives. You know, it's always nice to hear that, and you know, other people that get an idea of maybe what makes us tick.
Yep.
I guess me tick because I'm the drummer. Tick, tick, tick.
Tick, tick, tick. I love it. I love it. You're a great one, Phil. I can't wait to meet you in real life.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we're going to get into the music right now, and this is going to be The Darker Side of Life.
I see your happiness grow, the joy inside you flow. I'm here to hold you low in the darker side of life.
Everyone, you got the 215L. Doesn't matter what kind of sandwich, sir. I'll explain later. Thank you, sir.
Jimmy John's. Come in. Sir, did you know your house is on fire? Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know your house is on
Grab a
fire?
bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know?
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket. Fire department. Come in. Sir, did you know you... It's okay, Captain. We got it handled. Care for a sandwich? Thanks, but tell me something. Shoot. Why did you call the fire department first? I did.
Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery.
And welcome back to Rock Talk. So that was Crimson Rain with The Darker Side of Life. 2019 is going to bring a lot for that band. It was great that they stopped in for the interview. It was a really good one. And yeah, keep your eyes and ears open for all the new things that they're going to be doing in 2019. So, rock birthdays. On the 25th, we have John Levin from Europe. He's going to be 55. On the 25th as well, Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's going to be 56. Then the great Glenn Tipton from Judas Priest will be 69. And Matthias Jabs from Scorpions. He'll be 63. And John Anderson from Yes will be 74. All those birthdays are the 25th. Then on the 26th, we have Keith Urban. He's going to be 51. On the 26th, we have Simon Laban from Duran Duran. He's going to be 60. Then Keith Strickland from the B-52s. He'll be 65. And one of my all-time favorites, on the 27th, Kelly Osbourne turns 34. My God, she's just a baby. And on the 27th, KK Downing from Judas Priest. He's going to be 67. On the 29th, we have Roger Odell from The Cure. He'll be 63, along with Kevin DeBro from Quiet Riot. He'll be 63. Same day, same year. On the 30th, we have Joey Belladonna from Anthrax. He's going to be 58. Timothy Schmidt from the Eagles. He'll be 71. And on Halloween, Vanilla Ice turns 50, along with Adam Horovitz from the Beastie Boys. He'll be 52. And Larry Mullen of U2 will be 57. So those three have a Halloween birthday. Wow, that'd be pretty cool. I have a holiday birthday too. I was born on New Year's Day. It's good and bad. I guess there's always a party going on. Anyway, we're going to get back into the music. Jim, what's on the lineup?
Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, and Slayer.
Nice. Enjoy those.
Gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning, death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah. darkness world stops turning, ashes where the body's burning. No more war pigs have the power, and as God has struck the hour, day of judgment God is calling. On the knees the war pigs crawling, begging mercies for the sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh Lord, yeah.
Savino Wine Preservation System is wine preservation glassware. Savino is an easy-to-use wine preservation system that allows you to enjoy your favorite wines anytime without waiting for an occasion. Open any bottle with confidence, knowing that you can enjoy the full original flavor of Tuesday's wine on Saturday. For more information, visit us at www.savinowine.com. Today's wine, tomorrow.
And welcome back to Rock Talk. So, this week in rock history, there's a lot of interesting things that happened. In 1962, Bob Dylan recorded his first album, Bob Dylan, for Columbia Records, and the LP featured the 20-year-old singer, accompanied by his guitar and his harmonica. The recording was done in just one day, and the production costs were $400. That's fairly cheap, and that, I mean, his record was just a phenomenal recording. I love Bob Dylan. He's amazing. And Elton John, he received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and he's actually tonight in Kansas City playing on his farewell Yellow Brick Road tour. It's going to be sad to see him go. I haven't seen him. I probably should go to his concert since I haven't seen him, and this is his farewell. He's going to be in Boston at the TD Garden on the 6th of November, and then on the 8th he's going to be in New York at Madison Square Garden. And then here in our area, he'll be at the Golden One Center in Sacramento on the 16th of January at 8 p.m. And then on the 18th, he'll be at the Oracle Arena. That's in Oakland. So that's going to be pretty cool. There's a lot of fans out there that really, really like him. So in 1995, Green Day singer Billy Joe was arrested and fined $141 for mooning the audience during a gig in Milwaukee. And Pearl Jam, they played their first ever concert, and it appeared on an off-ramp in Seattle. So just on a highway off-ramp, played a concert. That's crazy. And in 1962, a 12-year-old Stevie Wonder made his first recording for Motown Records when he taped "Thank You for Loving Me All the Way." That's pretty awesome. 12 years old and still going strong. In 1976, Led Zeppelin made their first television debut on the Don Kirshner Rock Concert television show, where they performed Black Dog and Dazed and Confused. So I'm going to put all these cool little facts up on the Rock Talk Facebook page so you can read more. And on that note, we're going to get back into the music. What's on deck? Jim? Hey, Jim. I think I lost my producer. Where did you go, Jim?
I'm right here. What are we doing?
We're playing some music. What's on deck?
Anthrax, Megadeth, and Dio.
All right. So enjoy those tunes, and we'll be back afterwards.
just get stronger. My eyes are true. My eyes could see the body shaking. Oh, my eyes were clear and bright. Goodbyes are easy to remember. You can see the hurt still there in my eyes. I'm falling off the edge of the world. I'm falling from the top of a mountain just to rise again. I've seen it from heaven and hell, seen it from the eyes of a star.
deadly sins, 7 ways to win, 7 holy paths to hell, and your trip begins. 7 downward slopes, 7 bloodied hopes, 7 are your burning fires, 7 your desires.